Sales Guru channel. Today we will discuss one of the important topic in the Salesforce, that is a validation rule. So today our agenda is what is that validation rule and how to create a validation rule with a scenario and with a real-time example. So first of all, what is validation rule? Validation rule verifies the data entered by the user in record meets standards you specify before they save it. So that means, so you have field, you want to force some rule before user save into database. That means you are avoiding that user entering some wrong data or which certainly not meeting criteria. So this validation rule can contain a formula or expression that evaluates data in one or more fields and return true or false. That means this validation rule is nothing but it's a formula or expression. That means it contains two conditions or three conditions, so which will return either true or false. So if the validation returns true, means the value entered is invalid data and we need to display error, warning the user you are entering the data which is not meeting criteria specified by the user. So for example, the phone number, if you have a one field called phone number, typically this phone number should be 10 digits, right? So if suppose you entered less than 10 digits, we can warn him by showing the mobile number you are entering is less than 10 not 10 digits. You have to enter the proper mobile number, and you have account number field in your organization. So and this account number should be at least 8 it should be 8 characters or 8 numbers. So if you enter below 8 numbers, means it's not a valid account number. So you can warn him like you are enter not valid account number or please enter valid account number. So these are the some of the scenarios and use cases. So it's not only these two examples. For example, you have something like a website domain in your one of the object. So usually websites ending with certain names like .org, .com, .net, these are the valid web domains. If something they are entering like my name, just my name without .org, .com, so this is not a valid website domain. So you should avoid this by forcing the validation rules. And if you have any date field and suppose the date whatever the user is entering, it should be current year. So you can put a validation rule to make sure that date, whatever the date user is entering into that field, should be in the current year. And valid billing country, suppose you have a billing country, so you can force like only the billing country should be either India or US. So if you don't want to allow him to enter other countries, so that you can able to achieve by using the validation rule. So this is all about validation rule. Simply validation rule is nothing but you are enforcing the user to enter the data as per your standards. So we will take one example. So I have employee object. So in this employee object I have employee name, salary and account. So my requirement is, as per my company norms, the salary should not be less than 20. So without any validation rule, I will save like but HR by mistake they are entering suppose 20,000. So they can able to save, but as per my company norms it's wrong, right? So user is entering some wrong data. So what if I enable validation rule? So in order to put validation rule, you have to go to object manager and go to object. So my object is employee. So here if you see in object manager, you have many options like field and relationship, page layouts and all. So at the bottom you can see validation rule. So click on the new. So rule name, put some meaningful name like a salary greater than 20,000. description, some meaningful description. Salary should not be less than 20,000. So here you have two things, one is insert field and insert operator. So if I click on insert field, so it will this is the employee object, and employee object I want to put on which field, so salary, right? So salary, select the salary and click insert. So here you can use the operator less than 20,000. So once you put the formula expression, click on the check syntax, it will give, if any errors it will evaluate and it will give, so no errors found, so that means my formula is correct. And go down. So if user enters salary less than 2000 means I need to warn him with some message, right? So that is a error message. Salary should not be, please enter should not be less than 20,000. Save it. So my validation rule is available on the field. So now I will go to employee again. So I will try to create another employee 2. So I will put some around 10,000. I will select account and I will try to save it. See, when you try to save, the validation rule get triggered and it is showing user salary should not be less than 2000. So he has to modify it. 22,000. It got success. So that means this validation rules you can very helpful to enforce some of the standards for the object data. So thank you guys, thank you for listening.